You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast with your boy, Al Mega. Thank you one and all for tuning in today. Today, I have a guest that is actually a return guest on my Comic Crusaders Geek Fest special. He had this awesome movie on the indie circuit. And guess what? He's here today to talk about amazing updates that has happened with this amazing film. It's called Sundown Trail. I mean, I love it. Let me introduce the one, the only, the multi-talented Mr. Luke Guidici. Oh, I think I probably killed it. That's right. Luke G.
Yeah, Luke G. It's perfect.
That's it, boy. It's a rap name. You're done, boy. I'm just gonna call you Luke G forever. Big homie, thank you for coming back, and hanging out with me on my podcast now, as opposed to a special. So the rest of the world to get to know you, my listening community, that awesome movie that is Sundown, and get to know where to check it out now, because you I love that email. Ow! The movie found a home.
Yeah.
I was like, I was smiling ear to ear because, again, I'm a fan of the film. I dug the shit out of it. Rewatched it again recently. I'm like, yeah, it's still here. This is a fun movie. So, Luke, just for our new listeners out there, let them know, who are you, where you from, and how you even got into this whole game.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first, thanks for having me back, Al. It's good to see you again. Glad to hear things are going well down.
Yo, cheers to you, my brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Coffee, cheers.
Coffee, cheers. Hey, man, caffeine is good too, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so my name's Luke Guidici. I'm a filmmaker. I wrote and directed this film called Sundown Trail. I also edited the film. My day job, I'm a film editor. So I work in TV and movies. Mostly for the last few years, I've been working on animated shows. That's kind of been my bread and butter. Puts a roof over my head and lets me do short films, because, as I'm sure a lot of your audience knows, there's not a lot of money in short films, and got to pay the bills somehow. So I'm lucky enough to get to do that by working in the same field and really being able to hone my craft every day when I'm at my job. So.
Any shows that our fans are familiar with that you've touched that have gotten the grace of Luke G?
Yeah, probably a few. I've worked in a lot of children's animation. So I did a Land Before Time movie that came out 5 or 6 years ago. It was Land Before Time 14. I had no idea they had made that many of them.
Wow, you're blowing my mind. 14 flicks. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Most of them probably can skip, unless you got kids. I'm sure they're wholesome, kid friendly entertainment. And then I did a show or another movie called Curious George that came out on last fall on Peacock. It was Curious George, Go West, Go Wild. It was kind of Curious George meets a Western.
All right.
That was pretty fun. And then on the more like adult side of animation, I did an episode of Community called G.I. Jeff, which was really cool because we did the entire episode of Community in the style of a G.I. Joe episode.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great. And so it was licensed, so they were able to use all the actual characters from G.I. Joe. Yeah.
Fire.
But they took a funny, like, more adult take on it. One of the first things that happens is Destro is starting. This isn't a spoiler because it happens in the first 30 seconds. Destro is like trying to get away, and Jeff, the main character from Community, I'm spacing on the actor's name. He's really tall, but he's in the episode as a G.I. Joe character, and the Joes are like, oh well, Destro looks like he's getting away. And Jeff is like, not necessarily. And he goes, and he shoots Destro's parachute.
Yeah.
And then Destro like plummets to his death. And all of the G.I. Joes are just like mouth agape, because no one ever dies in the G.I. Joe episodes. The bad guys always escape.
You killed one of us.
Yeah, and that
I
was
feel bad for my enemy.
yeah, man, that cracked me up so much. I just when we were working on it, I just tried to stretch out the fall, like where he was falling, like on screen as long as possible because
Of
I
course,
thought it was so hilarious.
like on
Yeah,
that Wile E. Coyote joint. Like, oh my God, is he
yeah,
really going to die?
yeah, exactly.
You got
Uh,
sick. I love it.
yeah, and then I did a show called Harmon Quest, which was like a Dungeons and Dragons live session that then we animated parts of their adventures. So you got to see the players as the characters they're playing in the D&D world. And that was real fun too, because there was a lot of it was super playful, lots of monsters and spells, and then just really like wacky oddball humor that you get from improv. And especially, if you have talented improvers playing D&D, you get a lot of like really interesting, fun situations. So that was a good show. So those are a few of the things that I've worked on in my day job. But
See,
what I really love is
myself.
I love genre film. Like I love films like Willow and Star Wars were
Classic. Willow's classic. I was a big fan of Willow. Like it took me into my adult age to appreciate Star Wars more. Not
yeah
as a kid, which is funny enough because I was a big horror fan and action fan. So the sci-fi wasn't really up my alley until I started getting into like Predator and stuff like
okay
that. You know what I mean? What was it? The unknown. What was this other joint? Where about some alien virus, but the dude's also like an alien cop. Oh man, I forget the name of that.
Species. No,
No,
not
not Species. It was something. It was an '80s movie,
oh
and
yeah
it was like an alien cop too. Not Alien Nation. It was something else. It was really cool though. I mean, that's when I started really getting into sci-fi because movies like that, and of course The Thing.
oh yeah
I mean,
yeah, that's legend.
yo, I saw that as a baby, as a kiddo, and my parents was like, "You shouldn't be watching this." That was the
Yeah.
only one they let me see. The Exorcist took me to see Hell Night, but that was the one they had a problem with because they
Really?
saw the dog with the human head. Remember
Uh-huh.
that scene? They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, what is this? You shouldn't be watching this." But they didn't stop me.
Man, The Exorcist scared me as an adult. Like that was I can't
Yo,
imagine seeing that as a
man,
kid.
to embarrass my brother-in-law, when they did that redid video, movie, the kind of the HD upgrade that added
Mhm.
some additional scenes. We had this kid watching it in the living room, lights off, and my wife had this crazy Halloween mask. So she said, "I'll be right back." So she tells her brother, "I'm gonna go change." So so he goes, "Sure, sure." He's watching the movie, so she goes over there, wears his mask, and comes crawling into the room during the scene where she's stabbing herself with the cross.
Oh geez.
Yo, this kid, he is at this time about 22 years old, is screaming like a little child. And then he grabs the hair of the mask and just screaming, doing nothing but screaming. That my wife wants up taking it off and stands up, and he's there holding the head of the mask, the mask, still screaming, and we're in tears. And also, mind you, we did probably smoke. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
wanted to be assholes. And so, the laughter was even harder, which made him feel even worse. He was like, shut this shit off. I'm not going to watch it. I can't sleep.
Man, that's funny. That would be a good prank now for TikTok or whatever.
Oh, let me tell you, I wish that we had the cell phones then, because
Yeah.
that would have been a great one. To see this grown man screaming the way he did is a great memory. Great memory.
Yeah.
So, talk about the film, man. So people also know you had this bad boy on independent circuit, and then recently you telling me it found home. Talk about that journey in the independent circuit before finding home.
Yeah. So I finished the film in spring of 2020, got done and started submitting to festivals. And it was a weird time for festivals because festivals were canceling, or they were going virtual, or they were going to be virtual, but they were going to program like half as many films as they
May I
normally
ask
did.
you there before you continue though? How do you feel about a movie like this being on a virtual format? I mean, then when they were trying to do the festival that way, because for
Yeah.
me, I was like, I had a lot of people telling me now that this doesn't work. You need the audience.
I mean, I feel both ways, right? Like, I think good storytelling and good filmmaking holds up whether you're watching it on a cell phone or whether you're seeing it on the big screen.
That's the truth. Yeah.
I really like the community aspect of cinema. It's one of the things that I really love, because you're coming together from all different walks of life. You know, you don't know the people, like what they did earlier that day or what they're gonna do, but you all have gathered to experience this story, and a good story will move the audience all together. You know, you'll laugh at the same times, you'll gasp at the same times, you'll cry at the same times, and there's really something special about that weird bond you share with these strangers, like in this dark room where you're all going on this emotional journey together.
Yeah, man.
And I feel, and that's kind of it's hard to replicate that sort of feeling on a virtual festival. Now, that being said, I still think I think some festivals like Geek Fest did the podcast with you, and we did some virtual Q&As, and some of the festivals did more with having some interaction with the filmmakers and the audience, where the audience could ask questions of the filmmakers, and there could be a little bit of a back and forth like you might get after a screening at a festival. One of the best things about the festivals is, you see a film you really like, and the person who made it is there, and you can go up to them and say,
Yes.
"Hey, I really liked your film. Especially this one part. How'd you pull that off? Or what was your inspiration for this thing that you did?"
And you, as the creator, you want to get into those conversations and dig into that creativity, and just, enjoy some banter with someone that loves something you made.
Yeah. And often you find, like, you have other shared interests, and you like the same films growing up, or you're excited about the same film coming out. And then,
you made a new friend for life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a beautiful thing. I get you. That's what I kind of miss about the thing. But then I also started realizing that, what? Right now, in this virtual world, there's a lot more connectivity, though. It's funny.
Yeah.
We're not able to touch one another. Yeah. You know what I mean? Give that hug, that handshake, or that pound, like, yo, you're killing it. But at least here we're still able to see one another, communicate. And I've seen a lot of people open up, and those introverts, because a lot of you creators are introverts.
Yeah.
So, and I love that, even though you're introverts, you understand the value of putting yourself out there on this. And, being on the camera, you are an extrovert, whether you believe it or not.
No, that's a great point. It's a great point that it is, it allows for
some growth.
Like
as a person, like, you're not going to be afraid anymore.
Yeah, and maybe that talk with somebody, like having a conversation with the one person, is like, oh, this isn't so bad. So the next time they're, out somewhere, they can have that conversation again. And it's great too, because a conversation like this, if we just had it together at a film festival, it would just be for us, which is okay and good. But being able to share that with more people and kind of, I don't know, make the tent bigger, I guess, and more people can, be involved in the world of,
as creators. I don't want to get preaching about the mental health thing, but as you creators right now, y'all stuck, past 2 years, COVID, you guys can't let out, you guys are letting out creativity, but you also guys are locked up, in your own homes, prisoners. How do you deal with that mental aspect of it, and how do you deal with it as a creator? Because, you're a filmmaker. I mean, you're a dude that needs to be outside, making this stuff. Like, how have you handled that?
Yeah, well, it's definitely been tough. It's been a little easier because my wife and I, we moved to Idaho.
Idaho, hey man, potatoes, yeah, bro.
Yeah, Idaho potatoes.
That's my association, always.
Yeah, the southern half of Idaho is very, like, flat and rural, lots of farms and stuff. And then once you start going north, it's just like all mountains and forests, pretty much. Okay. Really, really beautiful state. But it's been pretty, like, life is pretty normal here. So I haven't really felt super cooped up. I like working from home. I miss, being able to go grab lunch with the director of, what I'm editing and hang out with the people. But I don't miss, 45-minute commute in traffic. both
How's
ways.
the, I hear you. But how's the creative community in that area?
It's there, definitely. I'm starting to, there's some Facebook groups that are pretty active, and I've started reaching out on them and met up with some people for coffee and chatted.
Nice.
And there's definitely like people who are up here making stuff. It's, it's different than Los Angeles. I mean, everywhere is going to be different than Los Angeles because so many people go there to pursue.
Yeah, because they think that should be the land, but in today's day and age, any place is home for a flick, son.
Yeah,
Use the beauty of America.
Come on, folks, no, right? Totally, 100%. Like we shot Sundown Trail in my hometown in Bremerton, Washington, and I really
beautiful state, man. Based on how you even showed me, it's like, wow, man, is that really that like that woody?
Yeah, well, depending on where you are, but Western Washington is super green, super lush. You hear about, it's always so rainy in Seattle, which is true, but then that's what you get. You get these forests that are just, ferns taller than your head.
Is that where Bigfoot lives?
Yeah. We didn't see him on this. We didn't see him on this shoot. We saw an owl and we saw some deer skeletons. But
deer skeletons, because the Bigfoot ate them. So there we go. I think Lucci is going to discover Sasquatch in Washington.
Yeah,
let's do it, bro.
I would be thrilled.
Let's talk about it, man. Your amazing movie. I got this little PowerPoint with the pictures. You know what I mean, and look at that. People are like, "What the hell is this? Is this about drugs?" It's not about you. You'll find out, folks. Homie's gonna tell you. So introduce, man, who's these awesome cast members, these people you got here, talk about the film, and then we're going to get into how you landed from indie to where you're at now.
Yeah. So the image we got up right now is Mason Mcnulty. He plays Thomas. It's the lead character. He's an 11-year-old boy who's out harvesting these toxic mushrooms called sundowns. And sundowns, the spores, if you inhale them, you'll die in 2 hours. They stop your nervous system, your lungs stop. You basically is
that a real thing?
No. It's something I made up for the.
Oh, thank God! Because I've seen mushrooms across the street. Don't scare me, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I researched mushrooms and toxins and saw the ways that you could die, and then kind of based this new genetically modified mushroom.
So just real talk for our listeners. You can't just pick up any mushroom and eat it, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a funny saying. There's a funny saying that I when I was doing the research on the mushrooms, there's a Czech saying, and it was something like, "Every mushroom is edible once." So
once.
Yeah,
which is true, because you're either gonna die, or you're not gonna like. Let me tell you, I've tried, those psychotropic mushrooms.
Yeah,
and those are the worst tasting things in the world. First of all, and I probably did too much because I saw Matrix on the wall. I saw fans waving at me. I mean, I saw Precious Moment dolls literally prancing in my face. Never again, my friend. Never again.
Psilocybin is a powerful drug, that's for sure.
Bro, so folks, please don't do mushrooms. I highly suggest you don't, because you're gonna. It's horrible for me. At least it was for me, anyway.
Yeah. So the actor on the left, that's Joshua Loren, and he plays the father, Ethan. So he's taking his son out. They're looking for these mushrooms because they need the spores in order to make the antidote. So if you get accidentally exposed to the mushrooms, you have to take an antidote. And if you take the antidote, you're good. But the antidotes spoil, so you got to keep going out into the woods and finding mushrooms, getting the spores, taking them back.
And this is scary how you kind of have these people wearing masks. It's just walking about, coinciding with today. I mean, and you did this even prior to that, right?
Yeah, it was super weird. One of the first lines in the film is, "I hate wearing these stupid masks."
Shit.
The boy is complaining about it, and man, it seemed like it took on a whole new life after, we're midway through post, and when you make a post-apocalyptic film, you don't really think part of it's going to come true when you're doing the sound mix and the score of the movie. So it was super bizarre to have that happen. And I wonder, sometimes I went back and forth like, well, is it going to hurt the film because it's going to seem like too on the nose for what people are experiencing, or is it going to help the film because people are going to be like, oh, wow, I really relate. It's like a more extreme version of what we're dealing with now. And I don't know what it did. It's obviously not in my control one way or another how people interpret the film, but it is one of those just weird things where
Timing.
yeah, you make something art you make a piece of art, a painting, a comic, a
Yes.
story or whatever, a novel, and the world changes around it, and that's going to affect how people view.
It feels like, oh shit, this is mimicking what we're experiencing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even looking at this, I mean, what is this? Is this like an injection? Is this the the antivirus right here with popping?
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the vials of antidote.
Okay, check that out, bro. Again, and get an injection so you can get cured. I mean,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah,
bro, Luke,
yeah,
Luke, you were too. You're Luke Stradamus, folks.
yeah.
Luke Stradamus.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the stuff I've written about zombie apocalypses doesn't come true next. That would be
Oh God, you know what?
unfortunate.
I'm ready. I got 3 swords. I don't need a gun. I'm gonna be chopping people like Michion.
Hey, a sword doesn't run out of ammo, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just make sure you got a good sharpener, folks, consistently. You got to keep it sharp.
yeah. Yeah, so this is this actor is Philip Wheeler. He played the big bad.
Yeah, the
big bad guy.
scumbag what a scumbag he is. Let me tell you, you picked the right person that could be such a douche. Great
Yeah.
actor. No insult to you as a person, but I'm saying your acting skills, you did a great job as like a douche.
Yeah, no, Philip was great. Totally nailed it in his audition, and brought that energy to set, and it was awesome. He had a good physical persona. Like there's this way that he just kind of exudes like toughness and cruelty.
Yeah,
and
cruelty, doucheness is what
Yeah. Totally. He totally has that. And
I mean, look at this, yo. How could you point guns at a dad and his son like that, yo? I mean, you guys are such, punks.
yeah. They're bandits, man. They're out there robbing, good hardworking folk.
Yeah.
And
They think they're the baddest men, but they're not.
Yeah.
That's real talk. Go ahead. I'll give you Luke's address if you have any issues with my comment. No, yeah, well, is this really where you're at? This is Washington? Like, how far is this from you? Where is this location? It's beautiful.
Yeah, so this is a place called Yulin Tree Farm. So it's a private tree farm. So they actually grow timber there to cut down for boards and stuff. Yeah, so it's west of Seattle. It's in Kitsap County, which is where I grew up. And several years ago, they opened up Yulin so you could go hiking and bird watching and berry picking and stuff in there. And I would go back there and we'd go hiking and bird watching, my family and I. And I was just struck by it was just so beautiful. It was this, otherworldly place, pretty wild, like not super touched. There's sections where they log, but there's other sections like the image we're seeing right now that have, these really nice trees in them. And the bonus is because they do the logging in there, they have these really good dirt roads that go all throughout the area. So you can actually get to these locations. Really, you can get a van back there. You can get a truck back there.
Nice. And easy setup, get it done.
Yeah. So we were able. So as we're just walking around, I was like, man, this would really work for a film location because, one of the problems with shooting at places that look wild and look, more natural is getting the
access.
Yeah, getting the access, getting the crew back there, getting the food back there, getting the gear back there. And so this was just kind of had the perfect mix of it. And they were really nice and let us shoot there. And
so shout out to them, man, for allowing you to create this beautiful film that you've created. I mean, look, this scene is powerful too, because I mean, just look at the scene. This is powerful. You have a kid holding, a weapon, and like, what do? You're a kid, How do you handle the situation? I mean, do you want to put the stress on the kid? This movie's deep in that way. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, you put in this kid, now he got to be an adult somehow, and deal with, adult decisions as a child. So was that purposeful intent in the direction of this film when you were doing it? Like, this dude got to grow up like now.
Yeah, no, 100%. I wanted to do something that was kind of like a Western and kind of a coming of age story. And so I wanted to take this kid who was a little timid and a little scared, and I wanted to just put him in just hard situation after hard situation and just punish that character, just really, throw them in the fire, and
they got to go through it.
Yeah, they got to get through it. They got to get through. They got it through to the other side. And I think that's one of the, the powers of storytelling is you're able to take these, situations that, thankfully most of us don't have to experience in our real life. And you're able to see a character go through that. And you're able to see somebody triumph. You're able to see someone triumph over impossible odds. And hopefully, you see that as an inspiration for all of our own lives. And we're like, well, that character got through this, I can get through the struggles I'm going through. And,
absolutely,
that character did it with grace and compassion and, reached a hand out to somebody who wronged them before and made a new bond. Like maybe I can do that in my life too. And I think storytelling is it's powerful, and you can really, get those messages out there, and, hopefully make the world a better place. I know it's that's a lofty statement, for a short film, but I really believe in the power of storytelling. So
yeah, again, because you're a man with a vision. So talk about landing on this platform as an independent creator. You had it in the indie circuit. Talk about what's home now, and folks. That's home. Omleto, is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. I don't actually know. I've only corresponded with him on email, so I'm not sure. Yeah, Omleto. I'm guessing. I'm guessing maybe it's pronounced a different way. It looks like omelet to me.
It does omleto. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you know what? I like omelets, especially American cheese ones. A little bit of ketchup. Puerto Rican. Don't bother me. Don't criticize me.
I love eggs in every variety. I'm a big
but I like a little bit of ketchup though, because sometimes when it's not like the right salted enough, but I don't want to throw extra salt. I just put a little ketchup on it, and it actually adds the extra salt on it.
I like doing like a little mix of ketchup and tapatio, so I get like a little bit of heat in there.
Oh no, no, bro! I did that when I lived in Mass, bro. I get me a nice American cheese omelet and get some pico de gallo along with it.
Yeah.
Woo! It was wonderful. What a good breakfast, man. Now you got me hungry. I'll feel eating that now. I think after this, somebody sees some eggs, bro. You're killing me. But talk about this omelet. Omleto website, bro, because you got your film on this bad boy, and somebody, I have a filmmaker on my team, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I told him I got this amazing creator. He's landed a platform that's sharing his film. So he's like, how does this channel promote the movies? And this is my man, Lance Lucero from Cinema Crusaders, Warehouse 9, award-winning independent film creator. He's curious himself.
Yeah. So I was at Shriek Fest in Los Angeles. I know they do a Shriek Fest Orlando too. I haven't been to that one yet. But
you better come down, but then I'll share a beer with you if you drink.
Oh, that would be awesome.
If not, we share an omelet.
I'd love to share a beer with you. Or maybe each have our own beers at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, please. That's bouncing on the foyer. He's my OE, bro.
Yeah. But no, so I was at Shriek Fest, and there was this film I really dug called Seek. It's this awesome horror short film. Okay. I'll email you a link to it later.
Please.
And I went up to the filmmaker afterwards, this guy named Aaron Morgan, and I was like, dude, I love your film. Like, it was great. And we just got to chatting, and he enjoyed my film as well. And we talked about the process of making them, and then just what we were working on next and stuff, and kept in touch with him. And I was getting ready. I was the festival circuit was kind of winding down for me. I was looking at the calendar of what festivals were coming up, and most of the festivals coming up, I'd either already screened in or I'd submitted and they'd said no about.
So the pool was running dry at this
point. And so I was like, all right, I need to find a home for it online. I need to figure out a good place to release it online.
No more touring.
No more. I want, festivals are great. I enjoy them, but it's time to just get the film out to a broader audience, and then move on to whatever I'm going to do next.
Project.
Yeah. And so I noticed that his film was hosted on the site Omleto, and so I shot him a message, and I was like, hey, what's it like? Has it been a good experience? Are they supportive? Do you think maybe my film would be a good fit for them? Because they seem to have a lot of it's not a genre channel. They do a lot of stuff. They do horror, sci-fi, comedy. They do
mixed genre, and they're supporting everything film.
Yeah, they just want high quality shorts.
Well,
And
yeah,
so
that's yours. Very
yeah,
good.
thanks.
They knew where to go.
Yeah, so I submitted to them, and they reached out, and they were like, "Hey, we
They said,
watched."
hell yes.
Yeah, we're like, "Watch the film, really like it. It's a good fit for what we try to do with the channel here. Would you like to screen it? Host it with us?" And I said, "Yeah," because I looked at their page, and they had really great high quality work there. It
Yeah,
seemed like their
good
film.
work, good numbers, good
Yeah,
traffic.
yeah, exactly. Like all those things you want, and then
They hit
plus,
all the check marks, man, for real.
yeah, and
I
then my
I check it myself for you. Because when you send me this, I was like, all right, let me check them out via my stuff. And I did a little bit of homework. I'm like, damn, all right, bro. There's something here about this channel,
yeah,
Who's behind it? Who did you talk to? I mean, what's going on?
and Aaron had nothing but great things to say about them and his whole experience being on the platform. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's figure out
Beautiful.
a good date. And so we just they had some stuff on their calendar, and eventually we came up with a good date that worked for us both. And then we released it. And it's been out now. This is the second day it's been out, and it seems
Oh,
like
nice.
it seems like people are.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Woo!
thank you.
So talk about that though. Do they help in any promotion, marketing of the campaign? I mean, what's the experience like? Because and one of the other questions that Lance had is like, how does a movie maker prevent, from being, how does this prevent the film being lost in a catalog?
Hmm.
At the end of the day, are they helping you? Are they promoting? Are they reaching out to platforms to say, hey, we got Luke Cheese movie, check it out.
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely do promotion. They test. They test out different log lines and different thumbnails for the image, just to see like what's gonna, what people are gonna be clicking on more. They'll tweak the log lines and the titles of stuff to try
Okay.
to get more traffic there.
Yeah,
They
because the
do.
YouTube is serious at over 3 million subscribers.
Yeah,
A serious channel.
yeah, and they do. They do some promotion on their social media. I'm not sure like how deep that promotion goes. I know they release a lot of films too. They release.
Well, I'm Leto. Comic Crusaders could be your home. Luke could testify because we got you, man. When you're indie and doing things on the quality that Luke Chi does, shit, this is your home. You crazy?
Yeah, so it's a good. It seems like a really good, a really good platform. And again, we're just like
Love it.
right at the start of the release, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, well, people need to enjoy this, beautiful movie, man. You gotta check out the website where you can find the movie. You know what I mean? And talk about this as the creator. I mean, how does it work out? Can you give me any type of details of like how it works out for you to put the movie on the platform? Are you
Yeah.
gonna make any bank on it? I mean, is it a fair share type of thing, or what's going on here?
So it's a non-exclusive.
Please don't tell me I lost Harmon, because again, this would be horrible right now. I asked the question about money. It's like, here we go. Illuminati said, no, you're not gonna ask about these questions now. All right, there we go.
Oh, sorry, I'm back.
I was about to say it was the Illuminati blocking us, because as soon as I
Yeah.
asked you about the money part of it, he's like, oh my god, let me block him.
What did I say before I got cut off?
Yeah, I heard nothing other than my question.
Oh, okay, great. It's non-exclusive. It's a non-exclusive
Okay.
license, so I would be able to sell it to VOD.
Oh, word?
Do a cable deal, like whatever I want. They don't own the film. They don't have any rights to the film other than that they can host it on their channel.
And,
So it's a great.
is it protected from any type of downloads or anything?
I mean, as much as any other YouTube
Okay.
video is, I mean, I'm sure most people can figure out how to download a YouTube video if they really want it. But with a short film, I really look at it as this is a promotional tool for me as a filmmaker.
I get you.
If I can, if down the
If
road,
they download it, thanks for downloading my commercial.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. unless they like cut my name off and put their own name on, it's still doing something for me. So down the road, if
Is
the
that
video,
an NFT? They're not trying to
yeah,
steal it.
exactly, yeah, it's not an NFT.
They know, especially through us. They better know. Shit, I'll beat their ass personally for you. They steal your movie. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, so like down the road, if it does well enough, I think there's some opportunities for some ad revenue sharing. I don't know what the bar is on that. I don't know how many films like get to that level as far as views to get that. Really, I'm like, my goal is just to get in front of as many eyes as possible, and be like, hey, this is the sort of story I can tell. I've got the filmmaking chops, like got a point of view. If you want more stories like this, or you've got a story that you're developing that you think I would be a good fit for, like I'm available. I can do it.
Well, my brother, I think you should check out platform like the Hero Ledger, and I also see a lot of people on social media like asking, like, "Yo, I have an idea. I just don't have these type of skills," and people are looking.
Yeah.
Right now, we're in this crazy state because of COVID, where everybody is turning into an entrepreneur, trying to create the next best thing. And it also shows that money's flowing. So
Yeah.
need to get paid, brother. I think, with this one movie that you have here right now, I mean, people are gonna love it. And you spoke upon your resume. I mean, who's not gonna want to work with Lucci? Yeah, crazy. I mean, bro, if I had the money, I'd hire you to give me a 15-minute short with my Comic Crusaders mascots. Like, give me, not even a 5-minute, like Looney Tunes style short with my stupid little Comic Crusaders, mascots, all of them, and it'll be fun. If I could figure that out, like the type of story I want, I would hire someone. Like, I want to do a 5-minute Looney Tunes style cartoon with my mascots, but related to comics.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I love the Looney Tunes animation, and there's such a
I wanted to draw them in that style too,
Yeah.
as well, because that's the whole point. Like, I want it to be fun, that 3.5 minute short, and then have my do it. Do I need a stutterer on the team? Maybe I may make a stutterer on the team. Why not? It's all right. You know what I mean? Because my uncle was a stutterer. I understood him, even though I was an asshole as a kid and made fun of him. But after the fact, that I appreciated the hell out of him. You know. And again, even when I made fun of him, he gave me what was called a cocotazo. You know what a cocotazo is?
I don't know.
So it's a Latino term for a head noogie. So he would pull out his knuckle. He's like, "Wait, you making fun of me?" And oos, right on the top of your head. It would sound like a coconut, bro. You feel me? You're like, "Oh my God, did you just hit me, mommy?" But mommy would say, "What did you do?" She wouldn't say, "How dare you?" To him. It's like, "Alex, what did you do?"
Yeah.
It's my fault. Damn it. What if he's just abusive?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you were making fun of him. So,
Yeah, I was a dick. I know. Nah, but I love having you on, bro. I'm so happy you got your film on this platform. Hopefully you're making some revenue off of it right now. What's coming else for you, bro? Are you working on the next project? Are we getting more of this? Are we getting something else? Are you gonna create the next slasher in those woods?
Yeah, so I have a feature version of Sundown Trail. So I wrote a feature-length script of it, and it follows kind of the same story about the boy going out and being timid and eventually like rising up to the challenge. But I really got to flesh out the world, so you see a lot more of the bandits, like the 3 bandits. You see their morning, you see how their day started, and you see where Ethan and Thomas live and kind of the community that they have and their friends and the other people that live there with them. And you're introduced to some new groups. So there's an even badder group of bandits. That's like the real big bad gang called the Dead Men. That's their gang name. And then there's a group of former cops and soldiers and government people who are called the Remnants. And they're like the last little bit of government that still exists in this world. And
but who needs government?
So you see all of them interacting and kind of clashing up against each other and kind of how that all plays out. So it was a lot of fun to really open up the world and stay true to the themes and the character growth that we see in the short, but really see a lot more of the world and understand kind of the greater context, which you just can't get into in a short because it's that's not what the medium is.
And that is called a short, which is just
Yeah.
a tease of an overall story. And if you love it, then you have to vote for it or support it so we could get the full story. So, thank you for having that script ready, man. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see the
Thanks.
full thing, bro. I mean, what do you expect here, man? When can we see this today? Complete bad boy one day.
Oh
What's
man,
popping?
it's filmmaking is such a weird thing. I can't imagine it happening any quicker than a couple of years. Just the time that if somebody gave me a pile of money, tomorrow it would still take probably a couple of years.
People, you heard he needs
Well,
piles of money. He's
yeah,
spoken on to the world. So direct you producers out there that want to invest in a hit film and make some bank, hit Luke G up right there, his
yeah.
website
Let's.
right here. Look right there, yo. Look at that. LukeSA.com. Yo, for real. You're gonna dig what he does. You guys are gonna make some bank too, because my man really knows how to make a film. I mean, are you using film, or are you doing the digital spectrum? Just to elaborate on that a
This
little
was all. This was shot on digital.
bit. Okay.
All of the films I've shot recently are on digital. I love film. I shoot 35 millimeter stills just as a hobby.
So
Uh,
you've used actual film and enjoy it.
Yeah, and I've shot 16 millimeter stuff like in college, 16
So
millimeter motion
so
picture film. It's just
once
expensive. It's just costs a lot of money.
okay, so that's the challenge. It's the
Yeah.
price point of it. Is it any different in the editing standpoint?
Well, after you would shoot the film, then you would transfer it over to a digital file. So your post process after shooting would be pretty similar. The
Okay,
digital
so
cameras,
the post process is still on a digital basis. So
yeah, I
regardless if
mean,
you're on film, you're still kind of transforming it and manipulating it on a digital basis.
yeah, I mean, you could do it on what they're called flatbed editing systems, and they look kind of like a bunch of turntables on a table. Like
Oh,
you could do
DJ
that.
Red Alert, man. There you go. DJ Luke G,
Yeah,
cutting up this film.
you could do that, but it's crazy. There's not a lot of those systems, and you're just adding. I think Tarantino did that on some of his films. You're adding a lot of expense, and yeah, there's something different
Time.
about the tactile. Yeah, time and expense, and there's something different about the tactile feeling of like a shot is actually if you want a shot, you pick it out of a trim bin, and
Yeah.
it's something you can hold up, like it's an actual physical thing.
You're like this, looking old school, like, oh, let me see this.
Exactly. There's that's an actual thing, and there's a different feel, and it makes it more tactile, and less just like you're playing on a computer keyboard. Uh,
Gosh.
but for me, it just is an added expense that I don't have the luxury of.
Okay. So, but if you could, and if it wasn't expensive, would you prefer to do it on an actual film as opposed to digital?
It would depend on the project, because honestly,
Okay.
the digital cameras now are so good that you're really able to adjust how the light comes into them, and how you can adjust the ISO on it, which is how sensitive it
So
is to
you
light.
could duplicate a imagery as of film.
Yeah, you can get pretty close, but also the digital cameras are a lot more flexible. So say you were shooting somewhere with a really low amount of light, you would be able to change the setting in the camera such that there was extra light available.
Got it. So
Whereas,
within the system itself
yeah,
to give you that extra oomph that you
yeah,
need.
but if you were shooting on film and there wasn't enough light,
Yeah, you're
you
up
would
to
either,
nature.
yeah, you would either have to add light, or you would have to change the stock of the film that you were shooting, or
Okay.
you would have to open up
Wait,
the
when you say
aperture a bunch.
changing stock of film, is that really, that different?
It's different in the sense that just the time wise,
Okay.
stocks of film that are more sensitive to light, so you can shoot in the lower light, are often
Okay.
grainier, so they'll have a different like visual characteristic to something that you would shoot in bright daylight. And the
I love
digital
it, bro.
cameras now, same thing happens. If you try to shoot in such a dark environment, you're going to make your film really grainy. But they have more latitude, so they're able to accommodate a wider range of like darkness to brightness. You're able to adjust it more than you would be able to with
Yeah.
film. So if you were on the right project and you knew the locations and you knew like the sort of light you were going to get and the look you wanted, film could be an amazing answer to that. but it really depends on the project, because it's not only an aesthetic choice, it's also like something you have to consider from a production aspect. So I love the way it looks. It would be awesome to find the right project that I could shoot on film, because there is something really special and magical about the way that film, like actual physical film, works.
Oh, yeah, man. Love it. Love it. Look, you hear this? This is like man that's passionate. He got into that. And, like, he got, hold on, let me school you out. I love it. This is why I love having you on as a guest. I'm happy you found a home. Happy to have you, return to talk about, this amazing progress. I can't wait to see the feature, when it comes about. And folks, again, you hear this? So let's make it happen. Got that support investors. Right now, there's the word Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, someone. Listen, I mean, if you had a choice, would you like to put it on those platforms? Or do you want it to go to the theater?
Oh man, well, I mean, every filmmaker's dream is to have a theatrical release, right? So that would be amazing to, just to be able to walk down the street and see on the marquee, Sundown
Well, you
Trail.
could rent a theater and do your own theatrical release, invite people, and make it a party and do some give. I mean, I wish you lived in Florida. Let's rent the theater. Let's have some fun. So this baby off, kiddo.
Yeah,
I'd be down with you. Then I'd be giving away comics and everything for everybody. That bro. That's why I love talking to people like you. Hopefully, we have this opportunity one day where we could hook up, somewhere in this country, and we could do like a display of this film. And here we can ask giveaways and come over, man. Lucci got the craziest movie you're ever gonna see.
You got to start the Comic Crusaders festival in Orlando, and
you know what? I've been told this. Yeah. You're not the first one.
I'm sure you got all
trying to make us navigate, to different things, because we celebrate all things indie. Even though we call Comic Crusaders, that's unimportant. Forget about the comic. It's just, we're crusaders for all things independent, and supporting people like yourself that just bring in some fun, some, out of the narrative stories. Thank you. Even though, you see the mask and you think like, shit, we're wearing masks now, but he didn't do that on purpose. All before that shit. You know what I mean? He was trying to bring us some fun. It was just a coincidence how this happens to kind of match our life now. Well, what weird. But Luke, bro, as always, you're an amazing guest. Folks, I've been showing this off all day, but you got to go to lukeasa.com. Keep up to date. You got to follow him on social, the Instagram at Luke Guidici, both on Instagram and Twitter. He locked down his name. That is Guidici. I hope I got it right this time. And then please check out his movie on Omleto, OMELETO, the website OMELATO.com. You could get the movie right there. You could see even an awesome write-up from people from there that are just appreciating the crap of this amazing movie, because Luke is a boss. He's a boss.
I appreciate it.
Nah, brother, just giving you your flowers. Just thank you, for being brave. Here you are working for others, but you're like, I'm not going to give up on my vision. So you are an inspiration. You are a motivation. Thank you for being brave and bold and sharing your vision, not giving an F. Like, I'm going to put out what I want out there in the world, and, appreciate what I got. And you've done a beautiful story here that I can't reiterate this enough, that I really want to see this as the full-length feature film, so I can show wifey, I interviewed this guy twice. Look, you know what I mean? Look at his movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you. I see the progress since our interview 10 months ago, which I shared a link. Check it out then. He was all over Geek Fest Film Festival book. Shout out to Below that helps, independent creators like Luke, travel the country showing off the movie at comic conventions. So Below via Geek Fest is something very different and special. So, and thank you for even submitting to that platform, because I know, once Below put me on, this became one of my favorite movies on the platform. So thank you. I'm a sicko, man. I see your sickness, bro.
Good.
We're brothers of a like mind, bro.
Yep.
For real. So with that, any advice before we go that you want to give to any up and coming creators, especially on your journey? Because here you go, you went from independent film fest, you find a home. Now let's work on the next one. What you got to say to people?
Oh man, there's one of my best pieces of advice I've ever heard is, just keep writing. I know that sounds super basic, but just keep writing, because your first stuff might not be very good. You might not find your voice right away, but if you just keep going, just keep putting out new stuff, you'll get there. You'll improve and complete things. It's really important to complete things, because you learn something in that last little bit of finishing. Sometimes that last 10% can take you half the time, because you're really tweaking it, and you get an extra understanding of the process and the craft by taking something to completion. So I know it can be easy to get discouraged or to lose interest in something part way, but I would encourage people, take that project, take it all the way to completion, and then move on to the next one. And it's okay to start something else in between, but you got to finish stuff, because you'll learn so much by taking something across the finish line. I highly recommend it.
There you go, folks. Just finish it. Do it. Finish it. Go for it. Don't be afraid. You got it. Luke G's been doing it, and look at him. From indie to landing a home, and now I'm on the next one now, kiddo. Let's get her done. So again, if you need any actors from Florida, I got you. Cool. But with that, bro, Luke, thank you again for coming on. And now to the Comic Crusaders podcast after our awesome special on the Comic Crusaders Geek Fest special. Appreciate it. Shout out again to Below, to the family. Shout out to Lance for the questions. Because again, he's a creator. So do you think that the Untitled platform is a good place for creators to put their goodies on and hopefully be able to monetize what they got thus far?
Yeah, definitely. I would encourage people to check out a lot of different channels and watch the stuff on there. See if it's a good fit for your vibe, because not every channel is going to be the right fit for the project, and that's not necessarily a statement on the quality of the project. It might just be that the channel has a really specific vibe. Something that Alter's going to play is not what Dust is going to play, and something Short of the Week is going to play might not be what Omletto would play. So don't get discouraged if a particular channel says no, because it's not necessarily a statement on the quality of your project. It might just not be a good fit for them. So
it's not about you, man. They want to sell a narrative, and they want to continue on a narrative. Again, if it doesn't fit the narrative, it's okay. Find the platform that is right for you. You're so right, Luke, bro. Yeah. I mean, don't hate on nobody. Show them the love. Say thank you anyway, and just move on.
Yep.
There we go. But folks, you know how it is. If you like the content, you can follow me, anywhere on social at The Real Omega. Please follow my extended podcast family. I love these people. They got, No Price Podcast, The Film of Crusade, Flipside, Focused, Old Timers Show, and many more. Sloppy Spoilers. I mean, they're killing it, on the podcast. So check them out with Undercover Capes on your favorite podcast platform. So, if you're enjoying the content, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, because we're talking to amazing creators like Luke all the time. So, you want to get inspired, you want to get motivated, you want to get fired up, with people that are just doing their thing like Luke, just turn it on, folks, for real. And again, if you want to know what Luke's doing next, check it out, lukeasa.com. Please visit him there. Follow him on social, Luke Guidici, folks. All right, on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you're interested in the platform that's Omletto, let me spell that out for you. That's OMELETO.com. They not only host the amazing film that the big homie Luke has created here, but you could find a whole bunch of films for other independent creators that I think you would love. You can check them out on YouTube. Check them out on the website. It's the real deal. Luke, thank you again, bro. You rock. I appreciate you coming back on. People, thank you for listening. I'll tell you what to do. Hasta la próxima. Later, familia. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.